Hey, welcome back to Kev TV. We say happy birthday to Elvis. Well, we would say happy birthday to Elvis if he were still with us. Happy 74th birthday. The only reason why I know that, and I'm always able to tell you what Elvis's birthday is because Elvis was born in 1935, the same year as my father. So Elvis would have turned 74 today. My father will turn 74 in October. And the reason I can say, I can't say unequivocally, but I can almost say unequivocally that Elvis is no longer with us is very simple. I was never, let me backtrack a little bit. I was never the biggest Elvis fan growing up as a kid. Yeah, I mean, I knew Elvis from the movies, I knew the music, but again, being born in 61, Elvis was already back from the Army, already doing the movies. His music career was going, but you know how the early 60s Elvis music was. When he made the comeback in the 68 and 69 specials, and then into the 70s when he became the icon that he was, is when I really became exposed more to Elvis's music. Once I got into radio in the late 70s, in country radio specifically, they were still playing a ton of Elvis music. I can't even imagine, I can't even remember how many Elvis cuts we were playing back in the early days, back at WQZQ, back at WCMS, back even to WBHP in Huntsville when I lived there. But it was Huntsville where I really, explored Elvis. Huntsville was a few hours, about 4 hours away from Memphis, Tennessee. And while living in Huntsville, my first wife and I went to Graceland a few times. And actually, for 2 years in a row, went during what they call Birth Week, which would be right around now, when the Christmas lights are still up and people come to celebrate the honor of Elvis's birth. And then during what they call Death Week, which is the week revolving around the 15th of August, when Elvis passed away. We did that for 2 years in a row. And that was when I truly came to appreciate Elvis. I actually went to Graceland the first time in, I believe, '87, when I was living in Charlotte, and we'd gone to the St. Jude Children's Research Hospital in Memphis for a tour, for doing something for radio, and at the end of the tour, they took us to Graceland. And I was just, I don't want to say blown away, that's not even the right word, it was just amazing to me, the extravagance. When you take into account, it was the 60s and 70s that Elvis was dealing in all this stuff, and here I was seeing it, a decade after his passing. It was just, to see a microwave oven from the 60s, didn't even know they existed, to see his two airplanes, the Lisa Marie and the Hound Dog, to see the cars, to see the gold records. It was truly amazing. So my first wife and I made it a habit to go out there just because we could drive over. And what was amazing was the people I met. I remember standing by the graveside at one of our visits. It was probably during Death Week. In front of me was a couple from Japan. Behind me, a couple from Australia. For us to drive over 4 hours was nothing. For them, it was a pilgrimage. To see the impact of what Elvis meant to the world of music was just incredible. And that's when I truly came to appreciate Elvis. My favorite Elvis era is the comeback special era of 68, 69. The Kentucky Rain, In the Ghetto, Suspicious Minds. Probably my three favorite Elvis songs. I love those songs. And I know when I can say that Elvis isn't around today, even though people will tell you that Elvis is still alive. And in fact, I'm sure one of the cable networks is running the, Is Elvis Alive specials. I've read all the books. Here's my gut. To live the way the man did for all those years, to have a jungle room, which included shag carpeting on the ceiling in his house, to have a room at the time that had 3 televisions in it, there's no way you can just give that up and just go into hiding and be found in a Burger King in Lansing, Michigan, or whatever it was years ago. There is no doubt in my mind that Elvis passed away, no matter what conspiracy theories you want to believe or whether you want to really believe he's still alive. I don't think he'd give it all up. I'll never forget meeting Kenny Rogers in 1984, and me being the naive kid radio DJ asked him, why do you still do this after all the success? And he said, well, look out on the stage and see all those people cheering for you. There's no way for you to give that up. I think that plays into Elvis as well. So instead of saying happy birthday Elvis, since he's not here to say happy birthday too, I guess we say happy anniversary to the birth of Elvis on January 8th, 1935. Have a good one. Back tomorrow with more Kev TV.